And she said something that blows my mind. She said, because of the way that you handled our physical boundaries when we were dating, I trust you, and so I'll stay here.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I was like, back that, what? But there was so much trust in, like, I have a strong desire, I have a strong passion, but above all of these things, I'm going to honor God and do what's best for us.
Yep.
And I'm going to follow his lead, proven through physical, which you could prove it through other ways, but proven through physical boundaries or through physical intimacy. She's like, okay, I trust you. I hate it, but I trust you.
Hello and welcome to the Christians Who Date podcast. You may notice that our lighting is really incredible right now.
Oh, didn't even think about that.
The daytime.
Oh, the daylight.
Yep.
Yeah, so much daylight happening. I'm Andrea Alley, and I'm sitting here with two of my best friends and a special guest today.
I'm not a best friend anymore. I got crossed off the list.
Yeah, you didn't make the cut. Sorry.
Yeah. When
Oh,
you
it's
become
just
a
awkward.
when you become a dad or whatever, you're just off the list.
Okay. Different seasons,
Two of my
different
best friends,
I
and
guess.
somebody let this guy in, but
Yep.
no, just kidding. Oh, just kidding. But best friends, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah. I'm Callie Christopherson, and I'm here with
Lauren Bornick, and I'm here with Callie and Andrea and
Abram Goff. Hey.
Yeah. Woo.
I bring the
Abram
testosterone into
Goff.
this conversation.
That's
Thank you.
right. All the guys who listen are like, finally, we get to hear.
From
We're
a man.
represented. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do my best, gentlemen.
Yeah. And Abram, please tell us where you're joining us from.
I'm joining from Switzerland,
My goodness. Yeah.
land of the chocolate and cheese, baby.
Oh,
Ooh,
let's
the
go.
dream.
it's a good life.
Yeah, we
It's a
love
good life.
all those things.
We literally
We
have
are-
a shelf in our fridge that's just cheese.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
What a great
Yeah.
shelf.
Yeah.
I love that shelf.
How much better is the cheese over there? If you could just speak to that for a minute.
I never understood charcuterie boards until we got here. And then I'm like, oh, this is actually, cheese tastes different and it's good. There's a stinky one, but besides that, the rest of them, like, dang. And nerd fact, the different cheeses are named after different towns.
Oh,
That's so fun.
So like whatever they're named, wherever they're famous from, or like wherever they're from, they become famous from that one.
Oh, so
Wow.
cute.
Yeah.
Dude, that means like
So-
everybody's
so like
making
one town
cheese
has been
though.
making the same cheese for the same recipe for like hundreds of years,
Wow.
and that's
Okay.
helpful to
Very
make
cool.
it better. Yeah.
Yeah. They've been making that cheese longer than we've been a country, basically.
Yeah.
They're doing something
So
right.
they better have got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's better. Okay, we just figured it out. Yeah, so that's why you're seeing the lighting for us. We changed our time a little bit so that Abram wouldn't have to join us at 3:00 in the morning.
I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, his time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so happy to switch things up for you. And we're gonna have a good conversation. Fun fact, Abram and I go way back, actually. We used to, I guess you were volunteering and I was an intern,
Yeah.
or maybe you were working. You were probably working and I was an intern.
I was still volunteering. I had
Oh.
an extended. Thanks. I appreciate that. No, I had an extended intern year.
You were a glorified intern. Glorified intern.
Yes, for this awesome organization, Moral Revolution. If you guys haven't checked them out, you should. They're still putting some great content into the world. But yeah, so I started interning. He had already interned for them the year before, and so Abram really had to teach me a lot. But finally, like after
I tried my
hours, after
Especially
hours,
grammar. Andrew really
Yeah,
struggled
yeah.
with grammar.
Yep.
yeah. And it's funny because like at the time this was so new, but now this is what literally everyone's doing. But I remember at the time you were like, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna like put content on Instagram. Like, not just pictures, but like wisdom and like the Bible and like quotes. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
This is revolutionary.
Wait, what years were these? Because this will give context. Like, what are you guys
This was
thinking? What
last year.
Last year.
We're just behind.
Just caught the train.
2024.
2014, 15.
I think it was 15. Yeah,
Yeah.
2015.
There we go. So
Yeah.
about 10 years ago. This was
Yeah.
ancient stuff.
Yeah, and he's a designer, and I wasn't at the time, but I am a copywriter now.
That's
I didn't
right.
know it was a job back then, but that's kind of the role I started taking on.
Wow.
And so
She didn't know it was a little job until she started reading my writing and then just found out she had Tourette's with it. She's like, oh my goodness, I have to fix all this.
clean this up. Yeah, so anyway, we like became this team, like just taking on the beast of Instagram back in 2016, like constantly feeding that monster, basically, is what it felt like.
We call it the baby. You just always have to feed it and clean up the messes it makes.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
yep, it was very much like that. Yeah. And there was a lot of content on dating and healthy relationships and healthy boundaries and dating from a biblical perspective. So we've been having conversations like this one, like for a while. I mean, I guess we don't anymore, but there were a couple years where we were having them all the time in that office. And so this is kind of a full circle moment. And we just realized too that the first podcast I was ever on was with Abram through Moral Revolution. And I think you said it was yours too.
Same. Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
first one too.
Do you guys
Wow.
remember
This is the last.
the content?
It was about being single because we were both single at the time.
I think we call it Single with a Sex Drive. I think
Yeah.
that's what I named it and you hated it.
I hated that so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay.
You're like, I'll send this to my mom to listen. So
I
stoked.
know. I was like, I'm not sending this to anyone. It's probably still up if you guys want to go back and listen.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking. I want to
Yeah.
hear.
But apparently we snuck in. I did not remember the sneaking in part. We snuck into somebody's office who had the podcast set up.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
recorded it. And Andrew kept telling me to stop hitting the table because I get excited and just would hit the table over and over again.
That is funny. I love that.
Yeah. It was a good time. So yeah, we were like, oh my gosh, this is funny. Now we're like, this is years later. Abram has lived a lot of life since then. He's no longer a single man figuring out the dating world. He is a husband and a father of 2, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's
Two.
go,
Okay.
Abram.
Come on.
Yeah. So you want to tell us just a little bit about what your life looks like now?
Yeah, currently, today was filled with a lot of tantrums, if I'm honest.
Oh no.
Mostly me and my wife, some of the kids now. So we live in Switzerland. My wife is Swiss. That's why we're here. Which I can tell you that story later. But we have 2 little
Yeah.
ones. One is almost 3, and one's almost 1.5. So they are
Wow.
exactly 1.5 months, or sorry, 1.5 years apart, like to the day, give or take
Wow.
5 hours.
Wow.
Did not plan it, but got it. And they're amazing little humans to watch grow up and develop and explore the world, and obsessed with trash trucks and excavators and
Who isn't?
learning to walk. And yeah, I'm obsessed with them. And so, yeah, they're my favorite little humans. Yeah. So then I do website design, graphic design, and stuff is what people pay me for. That helps me provide for the rest of my family.
Yep.
So I still love my biggest passion is like helping people navigate relationships, like dating, single, married. I was actually, this was like a huge win for me. My father-in-law called me last week to ask me, he's on the leadership team with the church, and asked me for some advice on like how he should approach this conflict that they're having or that he has to bring up. And I was like, I got off the phone and I like ran to my wife and I was like, what your dad just did," because I felt so like honored that he saw and valued me. So that was a big deal for me. But that's what I love doing, is helping people navigate the complexities of relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Amazing. I love that because that was true 8 years ago. It's true now. So
Still true.
yeah, still true. Really awesome. So I actually recently helped edit Abram's book where he talked
did.
about the question, how far is too far? And
There it is.
Let's see
oh,
it.
there it is. We have
Oh,
it ready.
Casually. Oh, look right here.
Oh, wow.
Just
Oh,
happened to
my
have
book
it.
I
this
so-
whole
wrote.
thing.
Where did that come from?
I love
Oh my goodness.
I love there's like a bookmark in it, like you were reading your
Yep.
book.
Come on.
You're
I
like,
made a
oh,
note
from
because
this
I was like,
page.
I was trying to think of a question I wrote. I was like, man, this is really good. I should remember this. I'm like, I wrote it. No.
That's awesome.
But legitimately, I mean, I was just, editing it, but I was crying at points because I was like, this is
Aw.
like just a really amazing way to talk about this question. And there was so much of like God's heart as a father that came through that book. And I just feel like I want men to hear, especially, but women too, to hear like just how Abram has approached this question and this topic. And so we brought him on today to really dig into it. But first, because nobody gets to be a guest on this podcast without us digging into their dating story.
Yes.
So
The good stuff.
yeah, we want to hear first, like paint the picture for us, Abram. Like when you were growing up, what was the dating culture like? Like how was your experience with dating? Those kind of things, to give us a little context.
Well, I mean, my wife was the first person I ever dated. I met her on like a Thursday, and by the following Tuesday, I knew she was the one I was going to marry. And so, no, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Not at all.
I was like,
not at all
so
true.
clean cut.
You're like, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I was like, wait,
Hold
I
up.
don't know if I
You're
believe
like,
this.
that's a sucky story.
I was
No.
like, I'm confused.
You're like, we only have struggle stories on this podcast,
Yeah.
so you're gonna need to get out.
You're gonna need a lie.
Redo. No, I joke that I was like the 13-year-old who was ready to get married. Like I was talking
Aw.
to this age as me. I would like write poetry to like my middle school crushes, and it was bad.
Oh my gosh,
Love
so
it.
sweet.
But I was on like AOL Instant Messenger.
Let's
Yes.
go.
You guys are much
Totally
too old for
flirted
that.
through that.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I remember specifically talking to my crush's mom, who was on there too, and we were friends on there. And she was like, all the other moms just want all of our daughters to marry you because you're such a nice young man. And I was like, will you tell your daughter that?
Aw.
Because I'm trying to date her instead. But it's like that's my
Also, the
memory
fact
of
that a mom was talking on AOL sounds a little sketch, but that's
Yeah,
a whole
I'm
other
like,
story.
yeah, no, now that you bring that up, I'm like, oh, it was,
But sorry, that side note. Continue.
Yep.
I'll bring it up with a therapist next week. Okay. And so like, but I was in the friend zone with everybody throughout like middle school, high school. I grew up in a small county. So there was like about the same 70 people I started kindergarten with, I graduated high school with, like give or take 15, And so the dating, and it was, so this is I grew up in West Virginia, and dating, what I saw, okay, outside of like middle school, high school, because who knew what that was? It was like, we're going steady, which means you went to the football game together and you held
Yeah.
hands,
Very spicy.
Yep.
But what I saw as actual dating was like, you go to the movies, you go to a concert, you go for dinner. That's like a first date, was like,
Yeah.
that's what you do. And you don't really, I never knew what to do with the beginning stage. And so, because I was like, oh, if you're interested in somebody and you really like them, you take them on a date, which is a movie or dating or dinner or something. But then everybody knows, oh, you guys are dating. And so it kind of, I didn't realize this till later, but it created one of those high stake pressure situations.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how do you know if you like someone until you're like, you take them on the date and then you're like dating and then you're
Right.
married, or not you're married, but then you're like official or all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so in college, I realized Andrea and I had talked about this at our time at More Rev. I was in a lot of like pseudo relationships with women, not uh, because because I didn't understand emotional boundaries as a dude. Like somebody called me out and was like, "I think you're too close and you're crossing boundaries with these women," and I'm like, "I didn't touch them." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Like we
What
haven't made out. I
boundaries?
didn't touch them anywhere." I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then finally, someone described it as like help me understand emotional boundaries, where if you single out someone with, they described it as talk, touch, text, time, talk, touch, text, time, or there's another T. It insinuates you're showing them extra affection, and it insinuates more attention towards them. And so me being a naturally relational person, I'd single out and have like these deep, intimate conversations with people. And I was in college, so until like 12, 1 o'clock, and then you do it again a few days later, and it was awesome. And I was like, I was getting all my needs met, and I didn't. I mean, but they loved the attention from me, and so I dated a little bit in college. I had like one serious relationship because, again, to me, that serious relationship was like, or a relationship had such a high barrier to entry, almost like a huge step there, that I just had all these pseudo relationships and was fine because I didn't see anybody I was ready for. And then I found this amazing book that helped so much. It was called I Kiss Dating Goodbye.
Oh no!
Have you guys heard? Is this a new? Have you heard of this one?
Oh no!
Oh gosh,
It's
we've all heard of it.
We've
Get
heard.
rid of it. Anyways, continue.
Well, just, and I was thinking about like now. Don't worry, I've worked through a lot of it. I worked through that trauma, you know. But at the time, I loved it because it was the first Christian book that I feel like taught me how to do it. Because all I saw was like, if you watch TV if you watch TV, duh. Like when you watch TV or when you see movies or something, there's like, it's like passionate, it's like exciting. Like the guy walks up the bar. There's only one type of guy. Now there's variation, but I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, there's only one type of guy. And he was like the smooth, cool guy that like walk up and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, that kind of move, which is not my personality at all. But there was just, and so there was like this romance, there was this playfulness that was usually sexually driven to the point of like, he's just trying to get in her pants, or he treats her like an object, like she's just something. Like women were always kind of, what's the word?
Objectified.
Yeah, objectified and just simplified down to like a body with some cute laughs at his jokes and stuff. And I knew I didn't want, that wasn't the right way. But I did love the passion. I love the chemistry. I love the story that was told. I loved like the excitement. I loved that she wanted him and he wanted her, and I loved that thing. And then I wrote this in the beginning of the book, is because I saw that as like all of this passion. I'm like, I want that. And then I walked into church, and it was like somebody flipped on the lights in the middle of a movie. Have you ever had that experience where you're like still in the movie and suddenly the lights go on, you're like, what is happening? And like they'd flip it on and you're like, oh, I feel super awkward. Like they're talking about like, you shouldn't have sex before marriage, and you shouldn't want to like look at a female's chest. You know, they wouldn't say boobs, they wouldn't say breasts, they wouldn't like, it wouldn't be real. It'd just be like looking at a female's body or her form. And you're like, right? And I felt so guilty about it even before. Like, this is probably even before I cared about a female form. But I was like, okay, don't look. I shouldn't want to desire, And I felt so bad about it. And so having these weird juxtaposition of like, I like the passion and the romance and the excitement and the love. I mean, it wasn't even just the sex part of it, because in my head that was still off limits. But it was like the desire for each other and the time for each other and the way that they romanced each other. I loved all that. And then I walked into youth group or the church and saw none of that. It was just like, don't touch. No, not good for you. Don't be unequally yoked. Just like, don't. All I knew was everything
A
I'm
lot
not
of
supposed to
don'ts.
do. And then on top of that, it's like, you want to be a good husband. And so for me, sorry, I'm jumbling parts of the story, but I'll just throw this in now because I started it. For me, I realized what I learned was I learned how to be a good husband in dating. Like when it comes to the dating relationship, I feel like I learned how to be a good husband, how to like sacrificially love like Jesus, how to care, how to give of yourself. But I didn't actually know how to date. Like I knew how to do levels 7, 8, 9, but I didn't know how to do levels 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And so when I Kissed Dating Goodbye, it felt like there were some steps in there that
You had
somewhere
some
between
kind of
1 and
framework.
7. And so I loved it and just delved into it. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Unfortunately, it just reinforced that huge barrier to entry and to make everything super intense.
Yeah.
So fast forward a few years, I moved to China. So dating was off the table for a couple years. Moved back to California. And California's dating culture is so different than West Virginia. And so people were like, "Oh, just take her out for coffee. Just let's go for coffee. Like, you want to take her for coffee?"
Yeah. Not
And
in the
first, I
Bible
didn't drink
Belt
coffee.
anymore.
Yeah, not in the Bible
Don't
Belt.
drink coffee.
Also, the only people I grew up with who drank coffee was like my grandpa had like the red bucket of Folgers coffee. Do you guys know that?
So good.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the red bucket, or you could like you'd stop at a gas station and get a coffee because you're about to fall asleep. And so this whole culture of like take her out for coffee, and I'm like, I don't even understand what we're doing here. And in this process, through School of Ministry and through like kind of doing this, God started to, because I still cared deeply. Like I was ready to be married. I felt like when I was going to come to Reading and I was going to find my wife there, and apparently everybody else was too. And so the atmosphere there is just
Yep.
electric and
Yep.
desperate all at the same time.
Oh my gosh, that is
So
literally
accurate.
so good. I would
Perfect.
target
So
people.
accurate.
I'm like, you're my husband.
You're the
Yeah.
one.
I get
I feel
it.
the Lord on you.
Yeah.
And like, and so there was a lot of things that he worked through me with. I wish I would have known, hey, we're going to spend a few years working through some of your issues. But in reality, what it was just like, just go for it and I'll work it out with you in the process. And so like, 1 year, I think it was in second year, first year I think I locked onto one girl and I was like, okay, I'm going to try to figure out how to get to know her, how to, be in a group, do large group settings, because my only context was like, you get to know her. And then when you're ready to take her out on a date, then you're ready to like date her. And so I was trying to get to know her. No, that's not true. I didn't have that language of get to know her. I was trying to figure out if I liked her enough to date her without dating her or getting to know her. And so I didn't have those first 3 steps. So I'm like, okay, how do I figure out that I'm ready for level 6 or level 7 here? And so I was not great with my words. I was the guy, like I coach some guys now, and I try to help give guys language, lower expectation and give them language for it. Because I wasn't good with my words. Relationally, I could connect deeply with them, and then I'd be around them a lot, and so it would leave them in like this odd spot of going, "What is he? Is he interested? Is he not interested? Like I don't. Is he want to date me? Is he not want to date me?" And then if they'd ever ask, I felt I would get stuck and froze because I'm like, I don't know what I feel. I don't know how I feel, because my options were level like 0, we're friends, or level 7, I'm ready to be in a relationship with you. And so I was like, and unfortunately, I did not handle so many of those situations well, and so I started learning more and more of, or asking lots of questions, of figuring out, okay, how is it I'm supposed to do this? So in the process of like trying to figure out what's between 1 and 7, I had to like ask a lot of questions like, okay, so what's it look like to go on a first date? What's coffee mean to women here? What's that mean? I started asking girls out for coffee. And I remember in second year, I was like 0 for 8. I had 8 girls turn me down for coffee.
Wow.
And I was like,
Whoa.
what is happening? And now looking back, I was like, everyone has their own story. Why they said no is on them, not on me. But God had kind of like started working out some rejection stuff to go, hey, this is about you showing up and giving to them, not what they can give to you.
Yeah.
I learned at one point, God and I were having coffee, and I was just journaling. I was so frustrated because nothing was working out. And he's like, yeah, so why are you so afraid of pain? And I was like,
Whoa.
because it hurts. I don't like. I never one's ever asked. Ouch.
Does anyone
You
like
just sit
pain?
And so, but he's God. So when God asks you a question, there's more to it, and you just sit there and you kind of stare at each other. You're like, he's like, keep going, and I'm like, you go. I don't know what to say. But he's like, why are you afraid of pain if I'm the healer? Like, why would you not take risks if you know that there's healing on the other side of this?
Oh, so
And I was
good.
like, huh. Oh. And that began that conversation. And then I realized learning how to break up with somebody or how to end it was actually really good for me. I'm kind of writing this other book on dating. Who knows if it'll actually ever be finished. But I had to learn. I bought a house, and my dad came out and was helping me fix it up. And at one point, we built in a closet into the room, and I watched my dad put in the boards, the framing for it, put on the drywall, put on the mud, fix it, sand it down, paint it. Like he was teaching me how to do all this stuff as he did it. But as I watched him go through all of it, I thought, oh, I can do this. I can fix this. And in my head, I was not afraid to now try stuff other places. I wasn't afraid to hang up, like, let me hang up this picture here. Let me hang up this shelf here. Let me try to do this thing here, because I'm like, because I know if I screw it up, I know how to fix it. I know I can resolve it. And in this conversation with God, it was very similar of going, actually, because I know I can get healed, because I know how to end a coffee date, because I know how to end a relationship if it doesn't go so far, because I've learned that it's not actually the man's responsibility. This is controversial. It's not my responsibility to judge her, to guard her heart. It's my responsibility to act like a man of God and to treat her well and to use my words, but I can't control her emotions. So, because when I was trying to guard her heart, I was trying to predict the end of the relationship. And so I wouldn't actually take the first steps because I'm like, well, I don't know where this is going to go and she could get hurt. But when I got rid of the fear of pain, when I got rid of the fear of hurt, when I got rid of and I learned I could heal, when I learned she could heal, when I learned how to end the conversation nicely and politely, that it may still hurt, but it would be smooth, then I wasn't afraid to actually take risks.
Yeah.
And so, so I feel like I started kind of getting some, it sounds bad, but practice. Like I was actively meeting people going in there. So then I entered this really weird season where just nothing was working. And I felt like I had a lot of anxiety. I did have a lot of anxiety. I didn't feel like it. I did. And so I just was kind of like working with God and going, I don't know what happens. But there was this girl that I had seen and I knew ish of. And I was like, whenever I get through this weird season, I'm going to ask her out. Hopefully she's still single, but I'm like, once I get through that, I'm gonna get there. And fast forward 3-4 months, got through the season, and I went and I asked that girl out, and I was like, finally, like I'd seen her around, and I was like, okay, I was excited. I asked her out. We went on a date. It went well. It ended in weird, like a theological conversation where we kind of butted heads, and I was like, okay. Okay. Before we kind of hit this point, we were having a good time. I think it's going well. I wanted to go out on a second date. Like I had a good enough time, I'd want to do it again. So I asked her out on a follow-up date. We did a game night, so it was a little more low stakes. It went well, but then I got to the end and I was like, I didn't say, I was talking to my team, my community, and I was like, hey, I don't know what to do. Like, she's nice, she's pretty. I'm like at a level 2 though, so I don't level 2, level 3. I don't know if I'm really interested in her. And they're like, well, just give it some time. Like, ask for another date. Just let her know, hey, here's where I'm at. I'm getting ready to go on this trip soon. Just see if you can take her out when you get back. I was like, great idea. So I did. I called her and said, hey, I'm really enjoyed getting to know you. I think you're lots of fun. I've enjoyed our time together. If I'm honest with where I'm at, I'm at like a level 2, level 3 of like interest. I'm like, I'm interested in you, but I'd like to take you out on a third date when we get back. I just personally, a third date feels like high stakes for me, and I'm not at a high stakes level. I'm enjoying getting to know you level. And so I was just trying to communicate as best I could. And she's like, that's great. That sounds awesome. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to Switzerland next week. When I get back from that, can I take you out on a third date? She's like, yeah, sounds great. Cool, great. And so, as I said,
wait, you were going to the Switzerland?
I was going to the Switzerland.
Oh,
Because I said,
Oh,
I
so
was like,
this is where another person comes in.
this is where it gets complicated.
Ooh.
yes! This is exactly what we've been waiting for.
Because when I saw the computer, I was like, she's great. I just don't know if there's the extra thing. Like, I don't feel it. And they're like, just give it time. Maybe it'll come. And I was like, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
she's great on paper. I just don't know if the extra thing's there for me.
Yeah.
And so that's why I asked her out on the third date.
Yeah.
We fly to Switzerland. I wasn't supposed to speak at the conference we were at. My boss, Cole, his passport was set to expire within 60 days, and you can't travel within 60 days of an expiring passport. So they wouldn't let him travel. So instead, he looks at me at the airport and goes, well, I guess you're going to preach for me. And I was like, I'm going to do what? Because I had never preached for MR before, and I had 3 sessions when I got there.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so
But
I was
also,
like,
side note, this is so Cole.
he flows easily. And yeah. Yeah. So we get on the plane, and I'm like scrambling, trying to put together anything that I can think of. And I make a joke with the guys I'm with, Kate and Ken, who's sitting next to me. I go, you know what? If I meet a girl over there and it works out, I could call her my Swiss Miss that I made a Mrs. I just made the joke casually because thank you. Because that's my sense of humor. And then went on and forgot about it. We land the first night, jet lag, remembers what happened. The second day we go, and I've got all my papers there. I'm like ready to preach. I walk up and I see this girl and I go, huh, she straightened her hair. She looks good with straight hair. Oh, focus. You're about to preach. You got to preach. So I was like, but I just remember I was like, I'm going to come back to that later and move on. And so this girl that I happened to see there was named Michelle, which, spoiler alert, my wife's name is also Michelle. And they look very similar.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah. And so we were sitting there, and like whenever I was preaching, I was nervous. So I'd like preach and stuff. And then whenever I feel like I have a really good point, this one I know is going to land, I feel God on it, I would go over to her side where she was at, and I would like preach that point to this side of the crowd, because I'm like,
there you go.
I was like, let it land. And after I had preached there, I was just like, at lunchtime we were sitting, and the youth pastor there goes, hey, Abram, are you single? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm single. She said, oh, so is Michelle. And Michelle's sitting right here next to me. Like right next to me. And I go, it was like awkward. I didn't say it, but I grew up in a church enough that these conversations happen all the time. So I was like, oh, yes. Cool. So in Switzerland, and I was just trying to keep it moving because I don't like, what do you do with that awkward tension that you're sitting right there? And so I just stepped over it and went, oh, cool. In Switzerland, what do you guys do? How's your schoolwork? And just tried to switch the topic. But the rest of the time, I was trying to be around her as much as possible.
Nice.
I was trying to like figure out, I was like, this girl, I mean, she doesn't just look good with straight hair. She's funny. She did BSSM, found out. The whole leadership team, the group went out after the conference, and we're like sitting there talking, and we found out that we did school of ministry at the same time. We lived at the same apartment complex. She was 6 apartments away from me. She
Whoa.
would pick up my roommate to go to school because we were in different years. She'd pick up
Oh my
Darius.
gosh.
And I was like, you're the Swiss girls that pick up Darius. She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, cool. And then
Also,
when she left,
Darius, why was he holding out on you?
Yeah.
right? I'm like, bro, it's a good thing that we didn't meet back then. We both needed some growing in between those years. And when she left and she went back to Switzerland, her roommate sold her bed to me.
Oh
And so
my
we had
gosh.
like all of these
Wait, that's
connections.
crazy.
That's
Yeah.
Whoa.
freaking crazy.
I tell people, because more relevant, we talk about sex. I tell people that our relationship started out with my sex talk in her bed, and she does not like that joke at all.
That's
It's
good.
like,
we
now
have
we
this-
have to explain everything.
Tell the story. But the next day, so we're like around each other, and I'm like, I asked Kate, I'm like, dude, Kate, what do I do? Because I asked this girl out back home. We went on a couple dates. She's nice, but there's not anything extra here. This girl, there's definitely the extra thing there. I don't know what it is, but like, I would absolutely date her if she lived in Reading. What do I do? Because I don't want to ask her out. Well, I had just asked out this other girl, even though it was low stakes and we communicated. Me personally, it felt like I couldn't do it.
It's hard. Yeah.
And so Kate goes, just get her Instagram number or something and say let's stay in touch. I was like, okay, cool.
Good,
and so the
Kate.
next day, at the end of we were getting ready to leave the church and go on, I said, hey, I downloaded WhatsApp. I was like, I'd love to get your number. Like, let's stay in touch, because stay in touch was the only phrase, the language I had. So I said it like 8 times. I was like, hey, I'd love to stay in touch. Cool, excited to stay in touch. All right, so let's stay in touch. We're just gonna. I'm like, Abram, you have to say something different. So we're gonna stay in touch. And so I like leave, and I'm like, you the only thing you could say. So we were in Switzerland later. We flew back, and then the girl that I was supposed to go on a date with went home to visit her family. So it was like a 2-week span before I could talk to the first girl and close that down. So
also, knowing your personality, this probably almost killed you.
But I didn't want to like leave Michelle and she'd be like, oh, that guy from like 3 weeks ago, I don't remember. So I was like trying to like, I don't want to say keep her on the line, but like keep her some form engaged. So like, please keep remembering me. Please remember. And so we'd be texting
Please
and stuff.
stay in touch.
It's like, please. So after like 2 weeks, I finally get to talk to the first girl, and I say, we go on a walk, and how was Switzerland? How was your time with your family? Blah, blah, blah. I said, hey, if I'm honest with myself, I think that you're amazing. I think that you're beautiful. I think you have got great character. Everyone speaks highly of you. I think there's so many wonderful things about you. But if I'm honest with myself, that extra thing is between a friendship and a relationship just isn't there for me. Here's some chocolate I brought you. And so I gave her some Swiss chocolate I got her.
Nice.
And she's
Brilliant.
like, oh, thanks. And she's like, you know what? Like, I'm at the same spot. And I was like, okay, cool, great, awesome.
Gotta go.
And so I was like, getting out of there. Like, oh, you can talk to Michelle. So Michelle was working at she was helping with a conference here. And so I was like, as soon as the conference is over, I'm going to like set up a time to FaceTime with her. And she beat me to it. And she texted me and she said, hey, can I ask you a question that cost me something? What do you think about us texting so much? And I was like, dang it. I was so close. And because I'd been so poor with my words before and gotten the situation, it hit a little deeper. But I said, hey, absolutely understand. That's totally my fault. I understand where you're at. I was hoping to talk to you this weekend about it. If we could set up a time to FaceTime. Otherwise, if you'd like an answer now, I can text it to you, but I'd love to have the conversation in person. She's like, great, let's do it this weekend. Cool. So we FaceTime, had the most awkward small talk in the beginning because I don't know how to jump into it until I eventually go, okay, so awkwardly, and I just jump into it and go. I think, and then I tell her, here's like, I think you're super fun. I think you're beautiful. I think you're very spunky. I was like, do you know what spunky means? Because the language barrier. She's like, yeah. I was like, spunky, you're sassy.
Does that
like,
translate?
Yeah. You're there. Tell her all this stuff. And I was like, and I've never done long distance before, so I really don't know how to do that. But I think you're worth it, and I'd love to give it a shot if you're interested.
Mm.
Oh,
Love
And
it.
then came the longest 30 seconds of my life, where she just sat there to the point where I was like, hello? Did it freeze? Hello? But she was just shocked. And so I was
Wow.
like, hello, did it freeze? I was like, you don't have to answer right now if you're still there. And she's like, no, I think I'd like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Cool. I don't know where to go from here. And so that's how we met and started it. And then we kept dating. We kept talking. Sorry, texting and video calling. It got more and more frequent. I'm like, it'd be nice if we could see each other. And so we're like, it was about to be summertime. So I had this crazy idea. She's like, well, my brother's wedding's coming up. Do you want to come to it? And I was like, absolutely. And so
let's go.
I was like, I was thinking it'd be nice if you came here to kind of, because you have still friends here, but like, yeah, absolutely. And so we both kind of wanted each other to come. And I was like, this crazy idea happened. I was like, I have a credit card that has a bunch of points on it. And so I talked to her mom. I don't know how I got her mom's phone number, but I talked to her mom and said, hey, yeah, the moms are on it.
Tight with the moms.
And I said, hey, I've got a bunch of points. I'd love to fly Michelle out here to Reading and like to pay for her flight so she can come visit and we could have some time together. Can you help me set up that? Like, I'll buy the ticket, but can you help me like orchestrate the details? She's like, are you sure you want to do that? Her mom was like, really? That's a lot of miles. She's like, I don't think that. And in my head, I was like, and what I told, I was like, it just seems like Jesus. Jesus would pay the price to get the one that he loves to him. And so, yes, I would absolutely love. We were not official. We had been talking for 3 months. We were not dating. And I was like, yeah, this feels like I'd be stupid to not risk this.
Mm.
And so flew her out. She came to visit. We had an amazing time and a super awkward time at the same time because it was like, we started officially dating. We had to clarify what that meant for both of us. And then a month later, I flew over and met her entire family for her brother's wedding. And I mean entire family. I don't mean like her extended family. I mean like aunts, uncles, everybody.
Wow.
Speak zero Swiss German or German at the time. But just was like, we're here, let's do this. So thankfully I made a decent impression. It was nice that I was the guy who came there to talk about sex and healthy relationships. So that's how they knew me. So I was like, I kind of got in at level 2.
Yeah, nice.
And we did our entire relationship long distance. So she was in Switzerland. I was in America. My boss, Cole, worked at the airport and gave me his buddy pass. And he was like, yeah, if you want to go work there, you can work there whenever you want. So it was about every 6 weeks or so, I got to fly from Reading to Switzerland.
That is God.
For like
Dude.
$300. It was absolutely
Wow.
God. It was so nice.
That
Okay.
is
Shout out to Cole, the real
insane.
MVP.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's unheard of.
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, go over there. She came over. She flew over at Thanksgiving, so we could have Thanksgiving together and went Black Friday shopping together. And I was just like, I'll do anything with you. Like, I just love doing stuff with you in person in real life rather than just talking. Which, I mean, I also love talking. So long distance wasn't super difficult for me. It was difficult for her because her main love language is physical touch. So we had to I found like these little bracelets on Amazon. Did you guys know these? It's so cool. They're they look like Fitbits basically, but they connect Bluetooth. And so we both wear one. So I could like tap out a message on my bracelet and then in real time, it would buzz to her. So like if she knew, if I knew she was like going into an important meeting, or if I knew she was having a rough time, I could like tap out something to her, and we had like codes. We're cute like that, and so
this is unheard of.
We'd be able to touch each. That sounds so bad. We'd be able to touch each other millions of miles away from each other. But there'd be some form of like sensation of like, hey, I'm here with you, even though I couldn't physically be with you.
Very cute.
Yeah.
I was ready to propose to her by Christmas.
Mm.
But I wanted her she hadn't meet my family yet, so I wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
So as a last hurrah, I flew over because my buddy pass ended in the end of the year. So I flew over at Christmas time and surprised her for Christmas
Oh
and
my
had Christmas with her
gosh.
family. And then together we flew back to my family's for Christmas.
So
Wow.
fun.
And then you show up at Christmas time, everybody's like, "Where's it at?" But I knew I wanted to do it. I wanted her to meet my family, and then I knew I wanted to do it in Switzerland with her people because her people was such a big
Yeah.
deal for her.
Yeah.
So we got engaged just before February 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
Aw.
Are you
Oh
guys
my
fans of The
gosh.
Office?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the day I proposed, I was teaching at her school of ministry. She was helping lead it, and she was my translator, which is perfect. So I was up there, and I was like at the whiteboard. No, I introduced myself, and I was like, and so I'm like, yeah, I'm Michelle's boyfriend, and blah blah blah. And she has to say everything that I'm saying, which is awesome. I was like, and we, today's kind of a big day. I just started stuttering and got real nervous, and I was like, and I got down on one knee, and she looked at me like, don't you dare do this. And I was like, and I got to tie my shoe real quick, and so just tied my shoe, and everybody lost it, and she like wanted to hit me. But because of that, she didn't. The actual proposal that was like 3 hours later, she had no plans of, because she was like, "Oh, he already blew his chance earlier today, and I'm not getting hyped up on it."
Way to
Oh,
throw
that's
her off the track.
That's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Thanks, Jim Halpert.
Yeah. That is funny.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So
Sorry, that was
great.
much longer of a story than I had intended.
Oh,
No.
It's such
I
a
loved
good
it.
story.
I
So
loved the
good.
details. I loved the details.
Yeah. It's kind of funny though. I was thinking how dating started out high stakes and then you had to go on this journey where you were like, okay, just a coffee is fine. And then you were kind of thrown into a situation that was like inherently high stakes.
Yeah.
Because
true.
you couldn't just
I didn't
you
actually
couldn't
view it that way.
casually take her out to coffee. Like it was kind of like you had to kind of know that you were interested.
Yeah.
But thank God you did.
Yeah.
Like,
And you kind of got your movie romance you
Yeah.
wanted. Because I know it
It's
was probably
true.
way harder lived out, but I was like, this is kind of like a magical dating
Yeah.
season you all had.
It was.
Maybe didn't feel magical, but
It did. It did for me. Because I always wanted that magical, like that romantic story, and it was something I had to kind of sacrifice to go, okay, God, I'm not going to make a big deal out of this.
Right.
And I didn't actually realize it was a big deal until I was like in it later on. I could look back. I just remember thinking, everywhere I looked and researched, you can tell I'm a nerd and just trying to learn how to do stuff, was like, long distance sucks. Long distance sucks. And I feel like God was like, yeah, you could choose it as it sucks, or you could see it as like, you get to date someone from Switzerland. You get to have like go on this adventure of like texting and like finding the right times in between. Like it was when I would be on my way to work, she'd be on her way home from work. So we could have like a little call, and then at my lunchtime would be her bedtime. And so we'd have like, and so you just see it like this, let's have a little adventure and figure out how to do it. And in that sense, it made it so much more fun and enjoyable rather than we have to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so great. I love it.
I remember when I heard that you were dating somebody in Switzerland, I was like, if anyone can date someone long distance, it's Abram. Because that story about like the Fitbit thing, like that's totally Abram. Like he's very creative and he just like thinks of ways to make stuff work. And so I remember thinking like, well, if anyone can pull this off, like I feel like it's Abram.
Let's go, Abram.
It's like, good luck.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, quick side note. Andrea and myself, when we lived together, we watched your wedding, Abram, because wasn't it like a Facebook Live?
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah, that's
Facebook
true. I think
is
were we
great.
in your room? I think we were in your room, Callie.
We were. It was
That's
great.
adorable.
Yep,
Okay.
we virtually attended your wedding.
Yep.
This is adorable.
Beautiful
Yeah.
service.
Wow.
Yeah, we really didn't make a big enough deal about that, Cal, that we were there, but
Yeah, but
I'm
we
glad we
were.
can now.
That
Yeah.
should be the opener.
I know.
We attended
What
your
were we
wedding.
thinking? It actually
Yeah.
just came back to me. I was like, wait,
Food
that
was
was
decent.
Abram's wedding.
Yeah,
So
it was.
crazy.
We logged on.
Yep.
Yeah,
my goodness.
well, that's amazing. That's such a good story. We're just a sucker for good dating stories
Yeah.
over here. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
was like,
This is
top
the highlight
tier.
of my Saturday right now.
yeah. But definitely want to circle back to the conversation on like how far is too far and
Right.
kind of like just what did that look like in dating, kind of navigating boundaries, or however you want to like
Yeah, I think
transition into that.
God was very kind and helped me work through a lot of stuff. I say he helped me work through a lot of stuff before I met her. In reality, it was about 15, 17 years of just continued failure. So the nice version is like, he helped me work
That's
it through.
great.
And I was like, it was a lot of failure, and then I learned stuff.
Come on.
But when I finally met Michelle, one of the big things that was still unresolved was like the question of like, so how far is too far? Like, how do you navigate physical boundaries?
Yep.
And I grew up in the church and honestly had no good answer. I feel like every time it was just treated as if my sex drive was like a propane tank sitting next to a bonfire, and they're like, just don't touch anything. Everything could explode at any moment. Like
Yeah.
you're just going to go too far as soon as you kiss, as soon as you like. And I was like, well, that's not helpful because my other like, if you follow that, it's like you're either going to sin and go too far, and everybody I heard on stage was like, well, when we dated, we just went too far, and we just, sometimes. And I was like, I don't want that story. But I also don't want to look like the people who waited till they kissed at the altar, who look like two wide-mouthed bass coming at each other and just like
literally eating each other's
Ew.
faces.
you're just like,
Yeah.
I was like, God, I'm
It's
not
so
I'm
bad.
not doing that. Like, I don't know
No.
how, but I need another
Yeah.
option. And so it was started like I was like asking God, I was like, okay, God, how far is too far? Because I don't have good answers. And a lot of people talk about how far is like, well, you're asking the wrong question. And I'm like, or they'll say like, you shouldn't be asking that question. If you're asking that question, you already went too far. I'm like, I haven't even touched her yet. Like, I'm just trying to figure out, how do I honor God, have a sex drive, be attracted to her, and not have this weird step between 0 and 100 when we get married.
Yeah.
And so I was asking, I was like, God, okay, so God, I need you to teach me this because no one else is making sense to me. I'm sure there's good answers, but to me, it didn't make sense. And I was like, how far is too far? And he's like, that's the wrong question. Go on. I was like, what is the right question then? And he's like, what's your goal and how are you going to get there? And I was like, okay. And so in this dialogue process with him, I realized, so for me, my goal, I had 3 goals. One, I wanted to lay down every night, look God in the face, and know that everything I did that day put a smile on his face, that my heart was
Let's go.
completely pure before him. And
Love it.
this wasn't just, it was like, did I treat my roommates well? Did the woman at the cash register? Like when I look back throughout the day, is there anything that displeased him? Do I need to clean anything up? Do I need to repent? Do I need to like,
Let's
not
go,
just
Abram.
like focus on the evil, but like, is my heart open and pure before you? Tell me what you loved about today. Tell me, is there anything that like, that saddened you or that grieved you? Because I want to fix that. And so that was my first goal. It still is today. The second thing was I wanted her to be able to walk down the aisle with her head held high, no matter who she was marrying at the end. Like whoever, the girl that was in front of me, I wanted her to be able to walk down the aisle with her head held high with how she dated me, no matter who was the groom. Whether with Michelle, ended up we were married or she went on to marry somebody else, I wanted her to be able to walk through shame-free. And the third thing is I wanted to be able to tell a generation of men that came after me to do it how I did it. And so these 3 things kind of have became my guiding principles as to like, okay, we're in these situations. Is this okay? Is this not okay? Can I honestly talk to God tonight and be like, that was fine? There was some situations, like I remember at one point we were in my bedroom. We had like a bedroom door open rule, and all of our rules, we just, you're like, let me come back to the rule thing because that's a whole thing in a second. But one of our things is like, we're just going to keep the door open. It's just smart. It's not a legalistic thing. We're just going to keep it open. But I remember one time we were sitting there kissing, and I went to put my hands on her butt, and I was like, "Is this okay?" And I was like, "I feel good about it. I think God's okay with it. I don't think she has an issue with it." And then I thought, would I tell other men to put their like that this is okay, and where they're at in the dating process? And I was like, no, I can't tell other men that this would be okay right now. So I waited. I mean, like later in the relationship, before we were married, I put my hands on her butt. That wasn't an issue. But from where we were at right then, I was like, I can't tell other men to do this. So I held off. Actually, I think probably held hips or maybe back. I didn't held off, but
just adjusted the hand placement. Yeah.
Adjusted. Yeah. I think one big thing, if I could kind of jump into a huge practical thing that God taught me that I've tried to teach other people, I wrote it in the book, but I think I just didn't have any other paradigm for this. I was like, okay, I need some form of paradigm. Is that okay if I jump in?
Yeah, go for it.
I was like, I need to know some form of what's okay when, because I don't want to go from 0 to 100. And so having these goals as my guiding principles, I was like, okay, God, walk me through this. And I'm having conversations. I call my team my accountability people, accountability partners, we say in the church, but I call them my team because it feels less shameful, because I feel like they're with me and they're for me. They're my team. So I was talking to my team about it and going, hey, is this okay? What did you think about this? Talking to married people. What was too far for you guys? What, why, those things. And so what I did was maybe I find the page here quickly. With God, I created, I call it the spectrum of touch. Oh yeah, you definitely can't see this. But it's a spectrum of touch. So when it starts from like, okay, like a light brush on the shoulder, like to, putting your arm around her, to holding hands, to like a long embrace, a peck on the cheek, a kiss, a long kiss, like a kiss.
Yes.
The French kiss. You're making out laying down. You're making out on top of each other. The hands on sexual parts, on like boobs or penises, above the clothes, under the clothes. And so I just mapped the whole thing out to go, here's the whole progression.
Yeah.
And then and then the next step was like, okay, so where does it get slippery for you? Where does your no get difficult? Like so I'm not asking I asked God where my line was, and he asked me, where does it get slippery for you? Like, where does your no get difficult? Like I learned there's times you can kiss. I don't know if you guys experience this, but I'll just say this for me. There's times like you kiss and you're like, I'm fine, this is good, it's enjoyable. And then suddenly like your sex drive kicks on, and I'd say like the engine kicks on, and you're like, I don't want to stop. Like the animal comes out and you're like, it's game time. And so just being internally aware of going, what point does that guy kick in? And at what point, because I want to draw the line before that. And so it was like, okay, what part does it get slippery? And so for us, so I drew my line out. I talked to my community and I was like, is this good? Like, this is what I'm thinking. Is this smart? Is this stupid? Tell me what you think. And then I presented it to her and I was like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. I'd love for you to find your line, and then we can talk about it. So we talked about it. And my rule and guiding principle is like, whoever has the stricter line, that's the one that you follow, because otherwise you're gonna feel like manipulation. It's you're manipulating, you're pushing people past their boundaries. Nothing good is going to come out of it. And so so I was like, for us, it was making out, laying down, not a good idea. And so then I had to think, okay, at what point am I going to get married? Is it like in 2 weeks, in 6 months, in 2 years? And so I was like, I can imagine us getting married in a year-ish, right? And so I was like, okay, so I've got a year to go from holding hands to making out, laying down. And so I can pace the journey. I can enjoy every step of the journey, because most of the time what you see on TV and what I knew was just like, well, if I'm okay to go there, let's go right there. But then you get right to the line like
Yeah.
on the second week, and you're like, frick, I've got no place to go, because wherever you
Yep.
end today, you want to start tomorrow, and you're like,
Yep.
okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
My sex drive is accurate, it's working, it's on, it is fantastic. And so if I could pace myself out and kind of go, okay, it wasn't as rigid as like, in 1 month we can hold hands. It wasn't like that, but it was just like, okay, let me enjoy the holding hand process. Let me enjoy a kiss on the cheek. Let me enjoy this and not rush, so that we get the fullness of it each time. And so that we're building, I say you bond the right way with the right person at the right time. So like,
Yep.
because you guys know Jason Valentin's intimacy ladder, where
We
he
love
talks
it.
about, right? He talks about like there's trust, and then there's the emotion, and then I think that I added in a third one is like the physical, like follows it. So first it's building trust, then the emotion, and then the physical. And so most of the time people throw in the physical to justify or to validate or to confirm the trust level. And so I talk about it in the book a lot, but I'm a nerd with chemicals and stuff. And so vasopressin, oxytocin, norepinephrine, there's all these chemicals that jump in that confirm and validate and make you feel like you're connected with the person, make you feel bonded with the person. So a lot of times people are like, I don't know where we are in the relationship. He's not using his words, or I don't know where she's at. I don't know if I really like her. So let's do some more physical stuff so that we feel good, so that we feel connected, so we feel this way. And then I'm like, okay, now I feel better in the moment. And then tomorrow I have a lot of anxiety because now we're more connected than we are trusted, or that we've emotionally bonded in. And so now we're having more anxiety. And so we typically just circle that process again over and over again. So if I can figure out, hey, I'm actually want to pace myself, I can bond with the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
I know, are we at the trust level well? Like, are we connected well? Are we answering the right questions? Then are we emotionally able to connect and to build that there? And then let's let the physical kind of confirm all of that afterwards. And so that building that pacing out was something that was super helpful for me and for us, because I was like, we were able to go through it. And then there was, we were able to get to the end where, we didn't have sex before we got married. We had our first time we had, can I say honestly blunt stuff on this podcast?
Go for
I'm
it.
coming from
Go
more
for
evolution,
it.
so I'm like,
I know.
you don't really have sex on your honeymoon. You attempt sex on your honeymoon. You're like, one of the lies I believed was that I needed to know what I was doing on my honeymoon. I was like, I want to show up and I want to like sexually satisfy her, and I want to be like the man, and I want her to feel desired, and like I'm taking care of her, and I'm all this stuff. And I was like, and I'd have it was awkward. I'd have a sozo with her mentor, actually, because of the time zone differences in our honeymoon. So she had to translate, but I'd have a sozo and realize, oh, actually I have this pressure that I need to know what I'm doing in sex to satisfy her, when really part of the gift is the gift of exploration. Like, neither one of us know what we're doing, and we're going to figure it out, and we enjoy it. And you get to figure out like what happens now. Like, as you enjoy every little step, you actually inside of sex isn't just the intercourse and you're like done, but you're like, oh, does this feel good? Does this feel good? Does this position feel good? Does this placement feel good? Does this outfit? You're like, there's so much you get to explore, that you're like, you're not bored on the honeymoon. You're not bored. I'm in 7 years in and we're not bored. Because there's so much you get to explore. But I have zero other experiences to compare it to. Like, I have never had sex with anybody else. My wife's boobs are the only boobs I've ever seen. Like, I've not watched porn. Like, her body is my body. I sometimes, it's kind of funny. It's funny to me. Sometimes I'll have demonic dreams about like that are sexual. Like, you know it because of working at More Evolution and stuff. And I'm like, sexual. And like this woman will come in and she's like taking off her shirt. This is probably too much information. But she'll come in and she'll like take off her shirt. And to me, it's my wife's boobs, because I know what no other boobs look like. And like, it's this joy. Like, I love the fact that I only know her, and she only knows me, and we're figuring it out. Like, and it's not an awkward figured out. It's like, it's an enjoyable figured out. And then I say on the honeymoon, you get to start that process of like, let's discover each other's bodies. Let's discover this process together. Let's discover all of these things, and you get to enjoy and build up. But there's this lie that comes in. It goes, you need to be able to sexually satisfy your wife, or some other man will, or that you're going to lose her, or she's going to be disappointed in you, or you need to be able to like have the right moves with your hips where your husband, like, I'm like, it's just a load of crap.
Yeah.
None of that is true because it's not the way he designed it. All of that is just performance. Like performance has zero expectations, or sorry, zero place in the way that God designed sex. All of that is literally just, you need to show up and do the right thing so that he loves you, rather than I love you completely unconditionally. If you're in a good mood, a bad mood, I mean, my attitude may fluctuate in there a little bit, but I'm still going to be here no matter what. And if you sexually satisfy me, or you don't sexually satisfy me tonight, I'm still going to be here tomorrow. And we're going to figure out what to do it differently. And there's so much, like, you start watching, and so much is just, you need to know what you do. You need to know how to do it. Like, you need to know, it's so stupid. You need to know if she'll sexually satisfy you, if you're going to be hooked to that ball and chain the rest of your life. You're like, don't worry, you'll figure it out. There's a lot of things you can do and try. It's going to be great. But there's so much pressure to put the physical before, to rush it through. But all that does is it actually just, it breaks so much trust between you and your future husband or your future wife. Because as you're building your relationship, and you're doing the trust, and then the emotional, then the physical, as you're building this through, it becomes so connected and bonded. But as you start to like speed up, and it's not just a oh, you're guilty for doing this. Like, there's there are consequences for this behavior, and like stuff that happens. But there's such a beautiful trust that happens between you and your spouse because of how you manage this, because of how you stewarded strong desires. When we first got married, we moved to as a story to illustrate this. When we first got married, we moved to America. We just moved here to Switzerland like 8 months ago. We moved to America, and it was a very difficult time for Michelle, for a series of reasons, which I totally understand. And she was just like, I want to go home. I'm done with this. Like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, I hate the fact that this is your experience of like our first marriage. Like, I hate that this is the life that I've presented to you, like that I've given you. And so I'm like, just talking to God, going, can we move? Can we move? Is that okay? Like, can we move? And I just felt God going, not time yet. Nope, you're here. Like, it's a red light. You cannot go. And I was like, frick. Like, you just want to save the one that you love. I'm like, and so we'd have these conversations, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I don't feel like we're supposed to go yet. I don't feel like we're released. Like, it's not good for us or our marriage. And she said something that blows my mind. She said, because of the way that you handled our physical boundaries when we were dating, I trust you, and so I'll stay here.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I was like, what? But there was so much trust in, like, I have a strong desire, I have a strong passion, but above all of these things, I'm going to honor God and do what's best for us.
Yep.
And I'm going to follow his lead, proven through physical, which you could prove it through other ways, but proven through physical boundaries or through physical intimacy. She's like, okay, I trust you. I hate it, but I trust you. And so,
wow.
Okay. And now, fast forward 5 years, we can look back and go, oh yeah, that was definitely the right decision. From what we saw, what we went through, what the world was going through, everything was like, that was definitely the right decision.
Yeah.
But it was the trust, it was the connection, it was this stuff that was built in our dating process, specifically through physical intimacy, that like bonded, that made us a team, that made us connected, that solidified. Even now in marriage, like, I don't have to worry about, she doesn't have to worry about me going, hey, if we're in a fight, if we're in an odd season or something, are you going to go look at another woman?
Yeah.
Are you going to go off? Are you going to like flirt with somebody else? Are you going to go do this stuff? It's just like, you don't have to consider that, because
Right.
I've proven to you, you're the most important person to me. And even in that, when I knew we were going to get married and I wanted to have sex with you so bad, I would not do it because of my relationship with God and how I cared about you. Yeah. Because I proved that to you here, and vice versa. And I'm just saying that about me, because she's proving that to me here. It's not even a thought in my head.
Yeah.
We have, sorry, I'm rambling. Do you want to, Andrew, you look like
I was just going to say that you showed her that you can put yourself and your needs, or even your like what you think is a need in the moment, below her well-being. Like you can put her well-being above your own like satisfaction. And that, I'm like, yep, she totally said that. Because as a woman, that's like what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Self-control.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're just like, can you take your own desires or needs or whatever wants and put them below, like, can you put me above that? Like that's the hugest thing that you can communicate for sure. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. I love that she pointed specifically to physical boundaries.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's and so I guess I thought the reason I wrote a book is because when we were dating, I just kept like making notes because I'm like, my goal is to teach a generation of men who come after me how to do this. And so I was like, I was just like, these were just breadcrumbs. I wasn't planning on writing a book necessarily. It was going to be a blog. But it was just like, here's breadcrumbs of what I went through. And so I talked about like, hey, here's how people bond. Here's why you want to bond the right way. Does it matter to wait? Here's actually why it matters beyond the Bible just said so. Here's
like
how
the
you set up,
science.
how you find your line. Here's how you keep your line. Here's super practical stuff. But one thing I thought was fascinating, I can't find it in here. Here's like, hey, if you do go too far, here's how you reset. Here's like an engagement season. There's one thing here. Sorry, let me find it real quick. I'm trying to quote it, but I hear people go, well, we're going to get married anyways. Like, it doesn't really matter.
That's a big
And
one.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's an emotional licensed marriage family therapist. They talked about, in our clinical experience, couples who had multiple partners prior to marriage or who are dealing with the aftermath of it years down the road, coming to us for trauma, grief work, forgiveness. Because of the multiple relationships they had in the past, they often view their marriage as more transitory. Since all of their other relationships came and went, we hear phrases like, well, if we stay together, rather than we need to work on. And I think it's fascinating. I guess it's making a slightly different point. But I think it's fascinating that you're really just, one of the reasons is like, you're training your body that this is not forever.
Yeah.
Like you connect, I'm sure we all went to the youth group where they use duct tape or something, the stickiness. But you're training your body of like, it's going to come and go. And so it feels later in your marriage, you actually have trust issues and you have some of this stuff because you're like, I don't know. Deep inside of me, I haven't taught myself that this is forever because I've taught myself so many other times that this is not.
Right.
And there was another couple that we were friends with, who they did a bunch of stuff before marriage, and they're like, "What's fine? We got married anyways." But similarly, they had to work through all these trust issues because we're like, we both didn't want to, but we crossed the line, and even though we got married, so it's fine. It's fine. We're married now. We're like, no, but you actually continued to break trust with each other. You broke trust with yourself. You broke trust with the other person. You broke each other's word in the process. And you never actually healed that. Like I have some trust issues because I can't fully submit and give my life to you, whether it's sexually or whether it's just like, I don't know if I trust your words all the time. I don't know if I can see you follow through on the things.
Yeah.
And you dig out there. It's like, oh, because you said we were going to do this when we were dating and we didn't. Or I didn't feel protected back here. Or I didn't feel like you were on my team then. And so there's that couple. I am unfortunate to say, when I started writing the book, they were going through some counseling, and now they're actually divorced and have went different directions. But like, I want people to have really great, healthy relationships. I think that's the goal. Like, so much of the time, people approach how far is too far is like, can I hold my breath for how long until I get married? Like, let me just white knuckle it until I get married. And then I'm like, finally, I can relax.
Like, there's so much suffering.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm just going to, okay, now I can finally let go of all sexual restraint. But in reality, it's going, no, actually, I want to approach this of like, what am I building? Like, what relationship am I building?
That's a good mindset.
Not now, not in 6 months, but in 20 years, I'm building something now with how I'm navigating this that is going to lead to that. And that's what I want to build. And so my goals, those 3 things, look God in the face, have her walk down the aisle, and tell a generation of men, were like these guiding things of going, okay, how do I do this? How do I build the relationship that I want 5 years into marriage and 10 years into marriage?
Great.
Because when I see that, then it's okay that I don't stick my hands on her butt right now. That it's okay that when we're making out and we go on top of each other and I really just want to start dry humping because it feels great, like that I'm going to be able to like not get angry at myself, but I'm going to like hype myself up to push off and to go, I need to go on a walk. Is it awkward? Yeah. I mean, it's a little awkward in the minute. I'm like, yeah, it is. I'm like, hey, you're amazing. You're doing great. I need to go on a walk around like outside. Like, you know what? There was times where we would be making out where I'm like, or we were just, actually this time, it was just kissing. It wasn't even making out. We were on a trail somewhere and I was like, I got to do some push-ups. And she took a photo of me. Because I like to sit down and do, like, I have to release the testosterone that is building up inside of me right now that just wants, like, I have to shut the engine down. Like, I'm willing to do the awkward stuff. I'm willing to tell the people, hey, this happened. I'm willing to block it. I'm willing to go, hey, we need to go to bed at like, I can't see right now. I got to stay away from hot tubs. Like, I cannot see you in a hot tub because you are amazing in a hot tub. Like, we cut off back seats. We never went to a back seat in the car. Sometimes we're like, there's sometimes like, hey, I can't see you after 9 o'clock. I know we're doing long distance, and so I only get to see you for a short periods of time this day. But right now, I cannot see you one-on-one in the evening. I'm like, yeah. It sucks when you're like, the scarcity mindset sets in, that we only have tonight sets in, you know, all those things sets in, and you're like, I just want, and you're like, no, but I know what I want to build. I know what our relationship I want to have is, and that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to pay the price. God said, you can either pay the price now or you can pay the price later, but later comes with interest.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, and so I'm like, so, and it wasn't just, I'm so thankful she was on board and she was dedicated to this, and she's like, yeah, because there's times that I'm like, screw it, I don't really care. Like, why are we Christians right now? I want you. And she's like,
Totally.
You don't. You know, there's times that she was able to go, thank you, but you should go on a walk. And I don't take it as rejection. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I'm like, I ultimately, you know my goals, I know your goals. And so ultimately,
help each other out.
I'm okay taking a little feeling rejected right now because of where we're going to get to. And so I know we're running along. The end of the book has a lot of practical stuff, like actual practicals, like here's some language, here's our conversations, here's things we did. So I'm rambling a lot. Thanks for listening. I get
so good.
I get excited about, I want to see other people have great marriages. I want to see them be connected and united. I want to see kids be born into a family that feels safe and that feels secure, and one that feels like, oh, I don't have to question anything. Like, I mean, like, I don't have to question my safety or my security. I can grow up knowing that I'm loved and knowing that my parents are always going to be here together. So.
Yeah, that's huge.
I love that.
I think, I love the like, I think sometimes that the question, how far is too far, can be a very like present minded, like, you know, question where you're just like, how do I make sure I'm okay right now? But when you bring all that vision of like, no, look 10 years, look 20 years down the road, and how can I make sure that myself and this other person and our like relationship with God is good 20 years down the road. Like, it's very like, it just challenges you to like, don't be short-sighted about this, because you're looking for long term. Like, if you want to build something long term, then you're gonna have to, there's things that you're doing right now that, like you said, I love that story, like it paid off. Stuff that you did like 5 years before like paid off, which is crazy. I love that. Well, Callie, Lauren, did you have any like follow-up questions or anything you wanted to ask?
I had a question, but it's bouncing back a little bit. But Abram, before we got on, you had mentioned like kind of in the phase of not really knowing what to do with dating. what were some of the things that you did? You mentioned something about YouTube and a couple other things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to hear about that.
So in the
Callie.
oh my goodness, in those stages of like, I was not good at I didn't know how to do those first three. I said call them first three steps of like, you're interested in a girl, ask her out, go on.
Yeah.
I had this one girl who came over to our house, and I was interested in her. I had been interested in her for like 3 months. She came to our house. We went on a walk or something. It made her a dinner, lunch, something, and had a great time. I thought it went so well. She left, and my roommate just cracks up. He starts cracking up laughing, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're so bad at flirting." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Nobody knows you're flirting." He's like, "Everyone just thinks you're a nice guy taking care of them." And I was like, "Dang it." I was offended, but then I was like, I was talking about it later. I was like, he's probably right. And so I literally had to like YouTube videos of like how to flirt.
Come on.
Let's
There are
go.
a lot. There's some great videos out there. If you're actually looking for one, I send this one to guys and to some girls all the time.
And in the show
Here-
notes.
Show notes.
Yep.
Show notes.
Show notes.
It's Charisma on Demand. I think it's How to Flirt and Not Be Creepy is the one. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that's probably a great idea.
Yeah.
It's so good. But he talks about like, it's this tension of push-pull, and he does it so well because in the church, I learned you're taught to not be a flirt, but so many Christians then don't flirt. They're like, well, I don't want to be a flirt. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to just get this. I'm like, yeah, but no one knows you're interested. No, there's not that playful banter.
Yeah.
There's not that like, hey.
Yeah.
And so I was just a very, I came in real heavy. I was either like the really nice brother, or I was like, Andrea wrote a viral blog called How to Not Treat Your Boyfriend Like a Husband. Is that it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much me. I mean, in reverse. I didn't treat my boyfriends like husbands, but I would come in, just give all of myself, super intense.
Yeah.
Like a
0
like
to 60.
Yeah, it was a wet blanket of affection. And so any form of spark that there was there, it was just like this guy's kind of nice. That's a lot. That was just a lot.
Yes.
And so I
It's
had
a
to
weird
learn, like,
middle.
had to like scale back, how to like give a little bit and then let there be space. And not like I'm playing a game, but I describe it to guys as like, if you're building a fire, you get a little spark and then you feed it a little bit of attention. You feed it a little bit and let that grow. And then you feed it a little bit more and you feed it a little bit more. There's not like, wait 2 days to get back. But I would come in heavy. I'd be like, I'm all here for you. Here's coffee. Here's flowers. Like, tell me about your day and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, How to Flirt was definitely one of those videos that I've watched multiple times.
Is there anything you learned in the art of flirting that you still apply in your marriage?
Oh, what a good question. Yeah, I mean, I think there's the art of flirting. It just has to be. It's playful. It's a lot of playful compliments. And so sometimes I can feel very affectionate to my wife and compliment her, but the playfulness of like pinching her butt and running out of the kitchen, you know, or giving her in that video, he talks about this push pull where you give a compliment and then you pull it back a little bit right at the end, like a little twist, like a comedic twist, just to like lighten the pressure so they know what to do. So I'll do that sometimes with my wife, like give her a compliment. I'm trying to think of one now, but like give her a compliment and then just twist it a little bit at the end, and she just goes, okay. Like, that was a great throw, babe. I'm surprised after you just see something else. Just so she's like, hey. But it's that little bit of like a, wait a second, and it gets her to lean in. Yeah, I need to flirt more with my wife now. I'm thinking about this. We haven't slept enough with the little ones at home. But
I need to look up those videos again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because like that mindset of like, well, I only have to do this until I get somebody to marry me, and then I can act however I want.
Yeah.
It's like,
Gotta
it's like no,
flirt the
actually a
rest.
lot of what you learn dating, flirting, like the whole wooing, pursuing process is not something that you can just like piece out on.
Yeah. And maybe I think a lot of guys, maybe I'm a little sensitive to this. I don't think it's like, oh, I got you, so I get whatever I want. I think sometimes you just get caught up in life afterwards, and you're like, oh, we're like, hey, we haven't slept a full night through in almost 3 years now. And so, but it's just like, oh yeah, I want to. Again, it's having like, can I build a vision for what I want my marriage to be? It's like, oh yeah, I want to be the marriage that like gives her a kiss and runs out of it, like, that sets up a Nerf gun for her when she gets home, and we did this once. Sets up a Nerf gun and says good luck. You know,
Oh my
like
gosh.
the different things are just like, I want our marriage to be playful. Like I want our
Yeah.
not just for us, but like I want our kids to see it too.
So
I want
fun.
our house
Yeah.
to be full of laughter and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You're right. It's like that little kid stage, especially. You're like, I'm just surviving through the day sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say
Great
one
questions.
thing that surprised me. You can cut this part out if it doesn't fit. I think one thing that surprised me that I wish I knew growing up is so much of the time the church had kind of like demonized my sex drive, or like your sex drive in general, and like you shouldn't want, but how much once you're able to like unleash that, how enjoyable it is for my wife to feel it, for me to feel like my absolute intense desire towards her of
Yeah.
like I I want to know you, all those things, but also I love your body and I want you to know that. And I
Yeah.
don't think I ever heard that growing up from like
Yeah.
that, hey, it's not a bad thing. It's your wife is actually really going to enjoy her getting to be the sole beneficiary of that focus
Yeah.
Yeah.
and getting to know that.
Yeah. Especially when she's had 2 children.
Yeah, that too.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
But
great.
just yeah, like I've heard I mean, not speaking from experience, but I've had so many friends that are like, as a woman, your body just goes through so many changes. Like you literally grow a child inside of you. You feel
Yep.
huge.
Dude, it
You
is
have
so
that
impressive.
child. Yeah, and then your body is different from how it was before you had the child, and like to have a man like want and desire you in the safety of covenant through all of that change, like I can imagine is really beautiful in the way that God, envisioned it in the beginning, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And she's like, you still think I look good? I'm like, yeah. Really? Yeah. I'm more impressed with her body now than I am before. Before it looked good. Now I'm like, it looks good, and that sucker's functional. I am so impressed with what you just did.
Yeah. 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 Well, thank you so much. Shout out to Michelle. Michelle, thank you for letting us borrow
Thanks, Michelle.
Yes.
Abram for an hour and a half to just, lay it out for the guys out there, but the ladies too, like how to navigate the whole dating process and how to navigate boundaries and all the things. We really appreciate you've also been someone like who's just been on the ground floor like for years, just like putting out resources, but always also like yourself, like trying to figure it out for yourself, and then like learning from your own experience and trying to help other people. Like, yeah, there's so much that comes out of your own like life experience, and the way that you've like set out to teach others as well, I think is really awesome. So we'll put the book in the show notes.
Let's
In the flirting
go.
video.
What was the name of
Definitely
the
that
book?
flirting video too.
What was the name of the book again?
It's How Far is Too Far? Navigating Physical Boundaries.
By Abram Goff.
Yeah, it's physicalboundaries.com. So I got that
Beautiful.
one.
Whoa, good snag.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was so confident
Yeah.
afterwards. I was like, people say this, right? Am I just making it up? Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having me
well-
on and listening for all of our story. I love that you guys, what you're doing and how you're sharing, and it feels so conversational and relational and relatable. I can't say
Oh,
I've
yeah.
listened to all of them, but I've listened to a lot of them, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh,
No worries.
Yeah,
Abram.
no. Anytime a like dad or a mom
A
with
guy-
young kids
or a guy
listens, or a
listens.
guy, yeah, we're
Truly.
like,
I'm like,
dude,
whoa.
extra points, extra points.
Yes.
Yeah. But thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's been great having you, Lauren and Callie. Thanks for joining me as always.
Happy
Oh,
to
yeah.
be here.
Thank you. I enjoyed
Such
it.
a pleasure. Yeah, and then all of you listening, thanks for joining us, and we love you guys. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.